Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to Big Brother 27. We had the cast reveal today. That makes it official Big Brother season, in my opinion. So, with that being said, I'm going to be covering the overnight feeds every night this season, just as I've done every season since I was on the show itself. So I will be covering that. But as we wait till Thursday and premiere night, I did want to go ahead and give one extra show out there, a very fast cast assessment, cast preview based on what dropped this afternoon. I'm excited to talk about it, talk about who I think is going to do well, who may struggle a little bit, whose strengths are great, who maybe's got to figure some things out, who may be America's favorite, where the showmances may be, who the winner is going to be. I'm going to make predictions on all of it. I got to say, as much as I'd love to be right, I don't mind being proven wrong as well, because I always want to have a season where people come into this house and absolutely surprise me and do things and achieve things that I would never expect. So, with that being said, I would guess there could be families and friends and supporters of some of these house guests that are out here right now scouring the internet to see what people are saying about their loved ones. If you're watching this, please don't take it personally. We have to make decisions based on such a small little bit of information that we've seen right now. Lord, give it 48 hours. We'll know everything there is to know about these people. At least we think so. But for right now, we're going off very limited information. So please don't take it personally. And if you are a family or a friend of one of the house guests and you want a little extra information, extra support, reach out. My family's been through what you're going through right now. I can give you some advice and let you know how it all goes down and all that. So always happy to help out the families of the folks who are getting ready to have the most incredible experience. They'll have their highs, they'll have their lows, but it's going to be an incredible experience. And I and millions of other people are so excited for it. All right, let me talk about in very general the house guests before we get into individual people. And this isn't going to be long. I'm picturing 20 minutes, 25 minutes. We're going to do quick recap of everyone. But before I do that, let me first say this. 16 house guests. We don't know anything about the 17th mystery guest. We'll find that out later. At least they tell us we will. No, we don't know anything about that, but we know the 16 house guests starting the game off. And I got to say, I like this cast. I really am kind of liking every single one of them. It seems like most seasons, you see some people that's like, yeah, I get why they're here. A few people you think, how did they make it through the casting process? And that's kind of always been my perception. I'm looking at 16 people right now, and certainly I have some I think will do better than others, but of those 16, every single one of them I think brings something to the table, and it could make for an exciting season. I was looking at this thinking, is there anyone here that I just care so little about that I would be happy to see them go out first? No, I think every single one of them could be interesting. It's going to be unfortunate whoever has to head out the door first. Hopefully it's guest number 17, right? We shall see. But no, I really like this cast based on what we're seeing right now. I think casting has, at least so far, considering the show hadn't started yet, but so far, I'm excited about it. Props to you casting for finding a very, seems like very unique group of people to play this game this season. So it's going to be fantastic. All right, talk a little bit. We've got the continued diversity that CBS committed to several years back. It appears that we have this without. I haven't tried to go any specific breakdown or anything like that, but certainly we've got a diverse crowd. It seems like to a large degree we've got some diversity in terms of geography instead. Lots of folks from different locations, which is kind of cool. I always like that. In terms of age, I think they're heading down the right direction. We've got the average age of this cast is 29.75 years. So right at 30 years is the average. The median age, which means half are younger, half are older, is 27 years old. So really, we've got not quite half the cast, if I recall, in their 30s and on up. That's not bad. We're getting better as compared to my season where I was the old guy, and then maybe we had one or two who were close to 30, and then everyone else in their 20s. Now we got a little bit more variation this season, which I'm always all for that. So we'll talk about that as we go through the individual castmates. As far as what these folks do for a living, Lord, it seems like they are all unemployed. Now, I not all of them. Some of them I know Adrian has is a carpenter, others have different jobs here and there. But it does seem like there's a lot of people competing this season who probably didn't have a huge difficulty taking a few months off, right? Yeah, which it's not easy to do. I understand it, but we certainly do have some people with a wide range of job skills. And so yeah, we got a lot of different jobs and all of that. Never don't think we've ever had dungeon master before. We'll talk about that. But a lot of folks with different kind of jobs. All right, with that, I'm going to do alphabetical order. Nope. I guess say no particular order. It's alphabetical order. We're going to start with that. We're just going to work our way through. I'm basing my reviews off of the interviews that have been released, the bios that CBS has released, the quick little promos, things like that, the photos. So everything I'm basing on is information that is out in social media. I don't have any secret connections that are sending me extra information or anything like that. All based on things that I've seen posted in social media over the last couple hours. So with that, let's go ahead and start again, alphabetical order. First house guest of the new year. Welcome in Adrian. Adrian, who is bringing the strategy according to the CBS promo. And Lord, he is bringing the strategy. He had a lot to talk about how he's going to play this game. 23 years old, a carpenter from San Antonio, Texas. Woo! Got to support my Texas guys. Adrian is from Texas. He is a very, very, very confident player coming into this game. Says he is going to be the best player of all time. He is going to be the king of Big Brother. He has got it all figured out. Now, when you do these interviews, you may have a little bit of bluster and a little bit of cockiness that may or may not carry with you into the Big Brother house. Hopefully, he doesn't come into the house and immediately start saying, "Hey, I'm the king of the game, guys." No messiahs or anything here. Now, I hope that's not the case, but it sure seems like he's thinking that at least. He thinks he's got the game figured out. That worries me a little bit. I think if you come in too cocky, playing a little too hard, thinking that you've got this thing on lockdown, that can spell trouble. I'm a big advocate of always needing to be flexible, of recognizing that the best player in the world, talking to you, Adrian, still has to rely on a certain amount of luck because there is some randomness in this game in terms of what comps come up, who may win, who ends up sleeping in who's run. There's a lot of things that you don't always have complete control over. So it's more than just being the best player ever. You have to be able to adapt. We'll see if he's able to do that, but he certainly thinks he's got the game very much figured out. I think that could be a weakness for Adrian, but I will say this. He is a carpenter, and he did talk about the fact that he has built a lot of these competitions in his backyard. He's built, I think he said on Wednesdays, he always does his wall competition. He calls it Wednesday walls or wall Wednesdays. He's built balance beams, the wall competition. He's done a lot of prep work, which props to you, Adrian. That's what it's probably going to take. We see people in Survivor doing it. Well, he's done the same thing. If he gets out there and dominates some of these competitions, we're going to know why. And I'm going to be giving him a whole lot of credit. But that being said, I do think he's got a little too much confidence that could spell some troubles for him. So with all that being said, I think he may play a little too hard, a little too early, and that could spell danger, a little bit of risk for him. So with all that being said, my prediction for Adrian, based on this little limited amount of information, I am predicting Adrian to make it to jury, but to be the very first member of the jury. So what is that? Fifth place, like 11th place, 10th place. First member of jury is what I'm calling for Adrian. All right, second house guest we've got is Amy. Amy, who is bringing into the house the girls club. Yes, indeed. Amy is 43 years old. She's from Stockton, California. She's an insurance agent. She talked about the fact that she was good at building connections. She wants to work with the women. She wants to get the boys out. We've heard that before, right? Yeah, every season it seems like we have some folks that have that in mind. It doesn't always seem to work that well. I think sometimes you can have some alliances that tend to have some gender focus on it, but I feel like maybe it's better off when it's a little bit organic, when it kind of evolves into that situation, and maybe you use that as an excuse to pull your side a little closer together, things like that. But she wants to go in and create basically an all-girls alliance. She talked about, again, the girls club. uh, that's a dangerous road to head down, Amy. But she wants to do that, get the boys out. She says she's very good at reading people, that her social game is going to be her biggest strength. uh, she did say she was down for showmance. Sometimes she's 43. Sometimes the older players in the game maybe not quite as up for this showmance. She didn't have any problem with it. So it does sound like she'll be doing whatever it takes to play and win the game. She says that she could see easily how she could become the mama bear in the house. She is worried about the competitions and how hard they may be, and difficulties in potentially winning some of those things. She also says, as a weakness, she's a little bit worried that she may trust the wrong people playing the game. We heard that from a lot of people, and I get it. Trust me, I know what it's like sometimes putting faith in people that maybe you shouldn't. But she says she's a little bit worried about that as well. I do think her weakness, in my viewpoint, may be that she's just way too focused on the women. Even if you've got that as your game plan, which fair enough, you can work towards that direction. But I think you always have to be flexible. And I didn't really hear the flexibility in her game plan. She didn't offer a whole lot beyond, I'm going to pull the women all together. And I think that's a very focused strategy, and it may cost her. She says that she's going to be talking to her babies on the live feeds. I think she maybe has 3 children. She's going to be talking to them on the live feeds. I do love a live feeder. So for that reason, I hope she sticks around for a while. But as I said, I don't know that she's going to be flexible enough. And so, unfortunately, my prediction for Amy is the first boot. Yeah, someone's got to be it. And again, I hope she proves me wrong, but I think what I see is a little bit of a lack of flexibility. Plus, being she's not the oldest now, but she's certainly not with a lot of the other folks as well. I think those two things combined are going to make it a little bit tougher game for her in the very beginning. We'll see how it works out. All right, number 3. I'm really excited about this house guest. This house guest is Ashley. Ashley bringing the spice into the house. She's 25 years old, originally from Chicago. Now she lives in New York. She's an attorney. We've seen some attorneys do pretty well in this game before. I'm talking to you, Xavier. Yeah, she's an attorney. She says she's not going to tell anyone. I think that's smart. I think people would worry if she said she was an attorney, but it is hard to have to maintain something else. And I can't remember what she said she was going to tell people instead. But she's not going to tell them that she's an attorney. She thinks people are going to underestimate her. If that's what she sees as a bit of a strength, as a strategy for, I certainly get why she's not going to say that she's an attorney. She thinks people will underestimate her, but she says that she's a competitor. She talks about how her parents really instilled in her drive to really fight. She's done pageantry. She's done modeling. She's done competitive dance. She is a track and field athlete, a track athlete. I think she may have said Division I college. So, she may catch people off guard with some of her competition athletic abilities. Because she seems like the complete package. She's an attorney. She went to Georgetown. I think the way everything about her, she's smart. She sounds like she's athletic as well. She also sounds like she's going to be very strategic. She called herself a strategy assassin. I love that. She said that her secret weapon is going to be her brain. She says that she's going to get close to people, not just friends, not just people she wants to work with. She's going to get close to both friends and enemies to help protect herself. She used a phrase, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. That's her goal, to try to be friendly with everyone, so she has a better feel for when people may be trying to turn on her and do things like that. She says that she's only going to win competitions when she needs to. So I could easily see her going a little under the radar in the very beginning and focusing on being very friendly with folks, and they aren't going to have a clue that she can win some comps here at the end when she needs to. She said her weakness is she maybe is a little too empathetic to other people, and that could hurt her when it's time to make the hard decisions and all of that. We shall see. Now, I do like this. She said that she is going to hold on to information. She has seen too many seasons, especially some of the ones recently. People learned something and they didn't keep it close to the vest. They told everyone, and before long, the information didn't have as much value because everyone knew about it. She's not going to do that. She's going to keep the info close to her vest. A huge, huge benefit to doing that. I think she's definitely on the right track. So, can you tell? I'm kind of impressed with Ashley so far. I think that she also said that she'll flirt. She'll possibly get into a showmance if she thinks it'll help her as well. I like her. I think she'll do well. My prediction from Ashley, I just talked about the first boot. My prediction for Ashley, I think she could win this whole thing. I am giving Ashley my winner's pick this year. I think Ashley could easily do it based on what I've seen so far. I also have her as one of the top three America's favorite finalists. I think that people are going to like watching her play. She just seemed like a very friendly person. So I'm seeing good things coming out of Ashley this season. All right, next house guest we've got Ava. She's bringing style into the house. Ava's an interesting house guest. She's going to be fun to watch. She's 24 years old. She's from Long Island, New York. I played the game with a house guest. It was a little on the quirky side from Long Island, New York, and value every minute I had to play the game with her. Ava is also from Long Island, New York. She is an Aurora reader. Uh, she looks at people and she can read the auroras around them. What an interesting skill. So she's going to do that. She wants to win. She's very honest. She's very straightforward. She said she wants to win because she is just flat broke and she needs the money. She's going to have the motivation, right? She says that her strength is reading auroras. You know that if you have confidence in your ability to do so and that guides your decision making and all of that, and other people trust you in your ability to read auroras as well, that very well could be a strength. We'll see how well she does with that, but that is her strength. She said her weakness are her emotions, which might get the best of her. You can't speak up all the time when you want to in this house. Sometimes you just got to bite your tongue, and we'll see if she's able to do that or not. But she is aware that that could be a problem for her. She does say that she's going to hide her aurora reading. She doesn't want people to know that she has such a superpower because they'll boot her immediately. So good thing. Hold on to that ability because who knows who would how people would take that. So she's not going to tell people about that. No showmance for Ava. She's got a boyfriend, so no, none of that hanky panky going on. No showmance for her. She says if it means winning $750,000, she's happy to be a villain. A villain doesn't have any problem with that. I do think, based on just a little bit I saw, she may be too honest at times. She may, now I know she's going to hide her roar reading and all that, but she may be a little too honest, and that could get her into trouble a little bit. My prediction for Ava, I see her going out pre-jury. I think she's going to be the last non-jury member. So was it fifth from last? Unfortunately, she may squeak into the jury, but I'm seeing right now that she may finish up just a little right before the jury starts, is my prediction from Ava. All right, next house guest, special house guest given some similarities. We've got Clifton Will. My name's William Clifford, Clifton Will. And I'm already feeling the connection with this guy, Clifton Will. Now, he did call himself Captain Will. Don't call yourself that while you're in the house. That may be to your benefit. Not to give yourself too many titles. Will. Sounds like he's going by Will. He's going to bring the swag into the house. He's 50 years old. I was 53 when I went into the house, so he's coming in as the older guy in the house. That's a tough road to haul. It makes the game, I believe, just that much tougher. I think this guy could do it, though. I'm impressed with Will. I'm going to be cheering him on. He's from South Carolina. His job, he's a college sports podcaster, but he specializes in women's college basketball. So yeah, he got a very, very focused of what he podcasts about, but that's what he does for a living. He is a 22-year veteran of the military. So I gotta say, and he talked about being in Iraq and all that. This guy's got the background, the life experiences. I don't think the ups and downs of the Big Brother house are going to have an effect on him like they may have on other house guests. He's gonna be able to handle all this stuff so much better, in my opinion. And I think that's going to help him in terms of playing the game. I think he said a 22-year veteran of the military. He is not going to tell anyone in the house that he's a veteran. I don't know. We'll see when he plays the game if he's able to keep that a secret or not. I would want to tell people I'm so proud of our military veterans, and I'd want to be telling everyone, but I get why he's not. He says he's not going to tell anyone. He has 9 grandkids as well, so yeah, he's got a lot of folks that are going to be cheering him on back outside the Big Brother house. He does talk about his life experiences. Are going to help him. He says, whatever someone else in this house has done once, I've probably done 3 times. So I've got more experience than anyone else, and I'm going to rely on that to help me make this thing to the end. He wants to be the oldest winner. He said, I checked the records. I want to be the oldest. Man, I hope you do it, Will. I would love to see the oldest player in the house win this thing this season. He says he's going to do it, and he very well may be. He says he's not sure he's the biggest fan. I think in terms of how many seasons he's watched, he's a fan, but maybe not a super fan. Things like that. He says he's going to work these young kids like a puppet master. I love this saying. He says his main strength is that he's going to be able to pivot and react. I'm a huge advocate of being adaptable when you get in the house. He recognizes that. So more power to Will. He's got a very defined strategy. He says he wants to get 4 other people on his side with a lot of variety. He wants 1 or 2 people who can win comps. He wants someone who knows a strong super fan who knows the history of the game. He wants a variety of diversity, a lot of different people that everyone else may not necessarily expect them to be working together. So he's got a very focused idea of who he wants in this group of 5 alliance, which is fantastic planning. Sometimes alliances form without you having the opportunity to join in, and sometimes you don't have as many choices as you think in terms of who you're going to pull into alliance, but make the effort. He's got a definite plan when he's going into this house, but also willing to pivot as necessary. Let's see. He's what else? I think that's about it. My prediction for Will, as much as I want to predict him as the winner, I can't do it. I do have him picked in 5th place, so making it to late jury. Once you get up to 4th, 5th place, anything can happen. It just depends on the competition. But I officially predicted him to finish up in 5th place. And Will, if you can do better than that, I'm all for it. All right, next house guest we've got. His name is Isaiah, but apparently he's going to go by Z. Z, I think. He's bringing the energy into the house. 23 years old. We've got a wide range of ages, but we still have some pretty young folks in this house. 23 years old, originally from Kentucky. He lives in Utah. He's a salesman. He says he may not say that he's a salesman. I don't have a huge issue. If someone comes to the house says they're a salesman, that wouldn't have immediately put a mark on them that I'd immediately try to target them. But he doesn't want to take any chances, so he's probably not going to say that. He did say that he's a fierce competitor, not just physical. And when you look at his picture, he definitely looks like he'll be a physical threat, but he says he's going to be a fierce competitor, physical, mental, and social. All 3 segments of the game, he'll be fierce on him. He did say that he can adapt to any situation. He doesn't even have a set strategy coming into the game. The ability to pivot's good. I've mentioned that over and over again. I think sometimes at least having a general idea about the strategy you want when you come in is not a bad idea. He doesn't have any plans. He's just going to come in, see what's going on. And as a result, I think to some degree, it sounds like Z could end up being a very reactive player instead of a proactive player. And sometimes that'll carry you through in the beginning, but maybe a little more difficult as you get further into the game. He's not planning on the showmance. He seemed pretty cocky about his ability. You have to have confidence to play this game, but you may have taken it up just a few notches beyond that. My concern with Z is he doesn't have the physical shape that he can fly under the radar. He's going to be tagged as a potential physical threat, whether he throws comps or not to begin with. He's going to be seen as a possible threat. And as a result, I think unless he is able to quickly develop some strong bonds with some other folks, depending on who the first few HOHs are, I could easily see him being a target just because people are going to fear him in the physical competitions. As a result, my prediction for Z is I think he will be pre-jury. He is going to be the second boot of the season. So not a long time in the house for Z, in my opinion. We'll see how that goes. All right, next house guest, we've got Jimmy. Jimmy, who is bringing the drama into the house. 25 years old. He's from Sarasota, Florida. He now lives in Washington, D.C. He's an AI consultant, but then he also mentioned he's a strategy consultant. He doesn't want to talk about the fact that he's from DC or that he's any kind of strategy consultant of any sort whatsoever. He's going to tell everyone that he is a tennis coach from Florida. I think he said he played tennis or he coached tennis in the past. So it may not be hard to sustain that lie because it's something that he does actually have experience with. So he's going to say he's a tennis coach from Florida. Very high energy. He's very up there, full of joy. You can tell how excited he is. So he certainly high energy. He's a fan of the show. He talked about that. He's the only house guest that identified as gay when talking about it. So we do have Jimmy with that, talking about that just a little bit as part of his interview. He says that he thinks his strategy background will help him play the game. He also says he thinks it's going to help that he has very strong self-awareness about where he's good, where he's not, what he's doing well, what he's not. So that is important to have. He said he doesn't know that former house guest always had that. He's got a lot of self-awareness. He says his strength is his confidence and knowing what he wants out of this game and week to week as well. He says he's not going to give up. He's going to fight for every point. Yeah, there's a tennis coach for you, right? He's going to fight for every point. He says he will crush his enemies by being their friend. So he is ready to play the game. He says he doesn't have any problem putting people in their place. Now that worries me a little bit. If you feel like people need to be talked to and maybe corrected and put in their place, sometimes that suggests to me that you may have some people that aren't always as appreciative of having you in the house. So that could be a little bit of an issue for Jimmy. He wants to be part of the first big alliance, and within that alliance, he says, the big alliance never lasts. So as soon as it forms, I immediately want to form a couple of three-person alliances within the big alliance. So sounds like Jimmy's going to have a lot of alliances all over the place in the early game. He talks about the fact he might be a little too trusting of the wrong people. He has a very strong personality in this game. As I said, he may create a little friction with other people. He may take things a little too personal, or other people may take things he says to them a little too personal, is my fear. Having said that, I think he's got the charisma and the characteristics and the strategy to take him far enough to overcome maybe some friction that's going to be created. My prediction for Jimmy, fourth place finish. Yeah, I'm predicting good things for Jimmy, so we'll see how he does. All right, next house guest that we've got is Katherine. Katherine is going to be bringing the sass. She's 23 years old. She's from Georgia, originally lives in South Carolina. She's a fine dining server. So hey, if you're going to Applebee's, check it out. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but a fine dining server. Now, a lot of people talked about how their job's going to help them. She talked about it, and it actually made a lot of sense. She said that she's a fine dining server. She has become very comfortable with working with people who she may not like, who may just absolutely upset her when she's serving them, but she continues to serve with a smile. She knows how to just put it behind her in order to get the tip at the end of the evening. So she feels like that's going to help her benefit her inside the house, that she'll be able to take people who maybe are sometimes a little too abrasive, not worry about it, continue to smile throughout and use that to her advantage. And I think that's a fantastic ability to have. She says that she's seen a few seasons over the last year and a half. So definitely not a super fan. I'm probably not even a fan. I am curious. I don't know if she's a recruit or she did apply. I think she may be the one who said that her little brother, is actually the huge fan that talked her into trying out. So I don't think that Katherine has a huge amount of experience with past season. We'll see if that affects her. She's incredibly excited to be on the show. She says that she can smile to people that she doesn't like, which I mentioned. She wants to prove to people that she can do it. She doesn't think a lot of people have the faith that she can do it. She's going to try to be everybody's friend. She's going to try to also infiltrate other groups. I know a person that may have been in Big Brother 21, Kat Dunn, who tended to infiltrate other groups and do some things similar to what Katherine is proposing here. We'll see how their gameplay comes out. I see some similarities in the way they present themselves right now. She thinks that she'll be able to manipulate other people. She thinks people are going to underestimate her. She is open to a showmance. She said, maybe not a forever showmance, just a week or two if it helps save me and it benefits me. Probably not the whole season because her eye's on the prize, but short term showmances here and there. She said, yeah, why not? So she's willing to do that. I think her strength, I think she is going to be able to fly under the radar. I think she's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think she's going to be an entertaining, over the top personality that people are going to like in the house, that we as viewers are going to like as well. My prediction. Now, I've already predicted the number one pick of Ashley. My pick for Katherine, finishing up number two. Yeah, I'm seeing right now a final two, all girls final two of Ashley and Katherine. I see Katherine making it to the second. I also see Katherine being one of the three finalists for America's favorite. She gives me a little bit of Leah vibes from last season, of Kat from my season vibes. I just think she's going to be fun to watch, and I think she's a decent strategy as well that could take her a long way. So, second place to Katherine. All right, next one we've got Kinu. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's going to be the name that I continue to screw up this whole season. Kinu is bringing the fun. 33 years old. He didn't strike me as 33, and I think that probably helps him a little bit. He's going to be able to fit in with all different age groups. He's right there in the middle. I think he'll be fine interacting with Will and some of the older house guests, along with the younger house guests. So I think he's got a lot going for him. Originally from Miami, he now lives in Texas. I think he lives up in the DFW area. So another Texas guy repping the Big Brother house. He called himself a dungeon master, and I'm still trying to figure that out. That could mean all kinds of things, of all kinds of things. Now, he later referred to himself as a personal trainer and nutritionist. So I don't know, dungeon master. He drives people hard in the gym or something. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out exactly how that tag was applied. I'm sure production said, "Oh yeah, put that down. That's fantastic." But he's a dungeon master slash personal trainer slash nutritionist. He said he's also a super nerd. This guy's got a lot of complexity to him, I think. So maybe that's where the dungeon master comes from. Little D&D, rolling those 20-sided dice as a competition. I think Kino is going to dominate if that's the case. Say he's a super nerd. Says he's seen quite a few seasons of Big Brother, so he's familiar with the game, with strategies, etc. He thinks of himself as a chameleon. That he should be able to adapt to whoever he's talking to, and use that to his benefit. So everyone's going to feel like they've got some bonds, some connections with Kino. He thinks people are going to underestimate his strategic side. Another guy that isn't going to be able to fly under the radar in terms of being seen as a physical threat. He's definitely been in a gym here and there, and people are going to recognize that. But he thinks people are going to be so focused on that they may underestimate his strategic side. He does think he probably trusts people too easily. We keep hearing that. He says no showmance for him. That's not what he's here for. He does say that he believes he can step into a lot of different roles. So again, the chameleon look to it. I think he gives a look of a huge physical threat, which is going to be tough for him. Although people may want him on board to help in the beginning stages. He seems to know the game very well. I think he's going to be a good player. As a result, my prediction for Kino is third place. Yeah, I can see Kino making it to the final night. Maybe we'll see what kind of competition. They've gone a little bit more physical competitions towards the end, and if that's the case, Kinu could win that comp and maybe replace Katherine, perhaps finish up second, maybe get first. But I'm seeing him as a top three finisher this season. All right, next house guest we've got Kelly. She's bringing the quirk, and I'm right there with you. I see you bringing the quirk, Kelly. She's 29 years old. She's from South Dakota. Have we had someone from South Dakota in the Big Brother house before? I should have checked beforehand. I don't know. Can't be many of them. She's right out there in the middle of nowhere. She talked about that she's a farmer's girl. She comes from a tiny little town. I think she's the one that said from first grade, kindergarten to 13, all in the same building. She graduated 64 people. All the people started there, graduated there. So definitely a small town girl in Kelly. She's from South Dakota. Now she is a web designer now. She talked about the fact that she runs several successful businesses that she's not going to tell people. She's not going to tell people she's a web designer either. Web designer is such a broad title. I don't feel like that's a threat to say that, but she's going to try to keep that under wraps. She does say that she's only seen 1 or 2 seasons, so she doesn't have a whole lot of exposure to Big Brother. She called herself a farm kid. She's a solar. She's a That'd be a heck of a trip. She's a solo traveler. Says she's been to over 42 countries. That most of them have been solo. She doesn't mind staying in hostels, sharing bathrooms with all kinds of people. She's going to fit right into the Big Brother house. Now, you know what that tells me? If she travels alone, if she's been to that many countries, it's not just that she's got life experiences, but she is someone who isn't afraid to take a risk either. So I think that's going to work to her advantage. Hey, just a small town girl, but been all over this big old world, right? She says that her weakness, she thinks, is going to be the competitions. She's not super competitive. That she actually is kind of clumsy. So I get it, Kelly. I think people are going to like Kelly. I truly do. She says that she's going to kill all the other house guests with kindness. She's coming with no strategy as well. No strategy and not really seeing a lot of seasons. I think those two combined are a little dangerous for Kelly, a lot dangerous for Kelly. She said no showmance for her. She's definitely not the villain type that she wants to be loved. She wants to be the hero in there. Her strength is going to be her spontaneity and braveness, and I do get that. She did say she's willing to adapt, which is good if you have no strategy coming in. I do think not having much knowledge is going to be difficult for her. I think for while she's in the house, she's going to be fun to watch, but I think it's going to be somewhat limited. I don't think I think she's going to be fun enough to last through the first few weeks, but it's going to catch up to her. My prediction for Kelly is that she is going to finish up pre-jury the fourth boot of the season. So we've got about a month to watch Kelly and watch her do whatever Kelly's going to do. I think she's going to be. I think quirk's a good definition or a description of her. All right, next house guest we've got is Lauren. She's going to be bringing the fun. Bring on that fun, Lauren. 22 years old. I think she's the youngest we've got this season. 22 years old from Lafayette, Louisiana, just east of Houston. I've been there a lot. Love Lafayette. She's from Lafayette. She called herself a Southern Belle at one point. She's a bridal consultant. She is a longtime fan. She talked about that. She's watched all the seasons, but she's not going to tell the others. She did describe herself, as I mentioned, a super sweet Southern Belle. Let's see. She says her strength is her competitive nature, her social game. She's not going to lay down. She's going to play from start to finish. That's why I hear fight to the very end, Lauren. But she's competitive. She's got a good social game, she thinks. She thinks her weakness is that she's not a very good liar, that she's just not going to be able to keep secrets or lie to people. And yeah, that could be difficult. Sometimes you have to lie a little bit while you're in there, or at least mislead, right? She says she's not going to be very good at that. She says that she'll do a showmance if that helps her further her game. Sure, she's down for whatever it takes to help her game be a little bit further. She thinks, as soon as I saw it, I was like, 22. God, that's tough. That's a young age to be playing this game and succeeding and all that. She recognizes that. She says she's going to use her age to her advantage. She's going to use being the youngest in the house as a way to maybe stay under the radar a little bit and not be seen as much of a threat. And I think that's a decent strategy. My prediction, I think she makes jury, but probably not much further than that. My prediction is that Lauren is going to finish in 9th place, early jury. All right, next house guest that we've got is Mickey. Mickey's bringing not just the charm. Mickey's bringing the charm and the sass. Mickey's 35 years old. She's from Jacksonville. She now lives in Atlanta. She's an event curator. Lots of things that could mean in terms of lots of events that she could do, right? But she's an event curator. She says that she had watched Big Brother in the past, but she wasn't really a serious fan until season 24. She mentioned the cookout, so maybe she meant right after the All-Stars, right after COVID and all of that with the cookout and all that. She did mention a cookout also. So say season 23 or so. So she's been a very serious fan since then. She talks about the fact, well, she talked about her favorite moment being the cookout as well. She talks about that she lives in Atlanta. She works as this event curator, that on a daily basis, she has to dominate in a city full of men. She's got a lot of men that she competes with, and she does well. We'll see if maybe she becomes part of the girls club that was maybe promoted earlier. by Amy. I think that was. Well, we'll see. But she did talk about that. She wants to show everyone what she can do. She says no one's going to pay attention to her early, that she thinks she can kind of go under the radar. I'm not sure. I think Mickey may stand out more than she thinks she will, but she doesn't think people will pay attention to her early. She says that she's going to bring a lot of energy, a lot of flair. I see that in her interview. Absolutely do. She said she's going to dominate with femininity, and she's going to dominate in pink. And she may be just the person to do that. She did talk about as a weakness things such as being a clean freak. She thinks that's dangerous, that if the house isn't up to her standards, it's going to drive her a little bit bonkers and may make it difficult. You got to be accepting of however that house is, and hopefully there's a few other clean freaks as well that'll keep that place in order, Mickey. But she's a little bit worried about that. Another person who said no showmance, that's not what she's up for, so we're not going to see that. She does think that she's going to be, I think she's going to be a very friendly person with a lot of charisma. You just see her when she talks, that she's got that to her. But she does say that she is very emotional. I could see that potentially as being a weakness. My prediction: another early jury. I went back and forth on Mickey, but right now I've got her prediction coming in 8th place, early jury. It's all about the emotion. If she can keep that in check, but she mentioned that as a weakness, and so if she mentions it, I'm going to assume that she's concerned about it. And if that's the case, 8th place. If she can move beyond that, she could certainly slide up quite a few spots. But officially, I'm predicting Mickey for 8th place. All right, next house guest we've got 16 house guests. We've got Morgan, who's going to be bringing not just sass, but she's going to be bringing the fun as well. Morgan is 33 years old, originally from Palm Springs. Now she lives in Los Angeles. She's a gamer. How cool to have a job playing video games. Morgan, you and I got to talk when we get done. I don't remember people still watch Nintendo 64. Hey, I can dominate in Timco Super Bowl for the football or something. But anyway, yeah, she says that she is a gamer, not just a gamer. She's a hardcore gamer. She's gone up against the best in the world and held her ground and all that. She's also a model. She said she talked about she's not going to tell everyone that she's a gamer because she thinks that'll put a target on her. I don't know, maybe not, but she's not going to tell them. She's going to focus more on the fact that she's done some modeling and tell that to the house guest. She called herself a goofball, a bit of a nerd, that she's got lots of humor. Her self descriptions, I definitely was smiling, and she's fun. It'd be fun to hang around with and talk to her. But she did refer to herself as a goofball. Now, here's what surprised me. I had no clue until she mentioned it. She is a former college track athlete, so there may be some athleticism that no one is going to expect at all out of Morgan. She says that she has learned to keep fighting no matter what. I love to hear that. Absolutely love it. She's not a super fan. You don't have to be a super fan to win the game, but hopefully she's seen enough to at least understand basic strategies and pitfalls and some of the things that can trip people up. She says that she's just going to try to be herself. Yeah, she's going to lie about the gamer part, but other than that, she's just going to come in and be who she is, and hopefully that's good enough to carry her through and develop the relationships that she needs. She says the hard part is going to be figuring out when to make the big moves. Yeah, it is. You don't want to wait too long, but if you go too early, then you get blowback and all that. So she recognizes that's going to be one of the harder parts of playing the game. She says she is not going to come into this game with her guns blazing, that she's going to lean on her social game in the beginning. And when she needs to start winning some comps later on and making some big moves, she'll do it then. But she's going to come in playing a little more casual. And I think that's not bad for someone like Morgan. She says her weakness, as so many people have said before, her weakness is a little too empathetic to the other house guests, to other people. She's open for the showmance if that's what it takes. It seems, my opinion, seems like she is going to keep things very positive. She's going to have fun in there, whether things are doing well or bad. I think she's going to be a glass half full type person and the optimist. She's going to have fun while she's in the house, and that always is fun for us to watch as well. Not that we don't love the fighting and the arguments and all that, but you got to have some positive people in there as well, and I think she'll be one of them. My prediction, early jury. I'm calling her to finish in 10th place. She could slide, but calling her 10th place. All right, next house guest. Now, this was an interesting house guest. Riley. Riley, who is bringing the heat. This guy, 27 years old, from Oklahoma, so just north of here, a bull rider, professional bull rider. You got to be a certain kind of person to be a pro bull rider. He comes from an entire family of super fans. He is a super fan. He seemed a little overwhelmed with everything going on around him. Very excited, but maybe a little bit overwhelmed as well. He talked about the fact Riley made it clear he is here for the experience. He is here for everything that encompasses Big Brother. He talked about how he likes to see so many different people getting along, or not, but so many different people for so many different walks of life living in his house together. I felt the same way. So I feel a lot in common here with Riley. He likes seeing so many different people in the house. He says he's not normally a follower in the real world, but he plans to kind of go with the flow here, and he'll follow when he needs to within this house. He talked about that he would like to take the best strategy from past house guests and use them as needed in different situations. So he is going to be relying on what has worked for other people before Big Brother. I think that's a good idea. He says he's going to, just as we heard right before with Morgan, he's going to come in and really be himself. He's not going to hide anything. He's going to tell him that he's a bull rider. He's not going to try to hide that. He's just going to come in. He's going to be himself. He said he's going to kill everyone else with kindness. He's never met a person he doesn't love, even people he hadn't met yet. He says he loves them all, and he's going to do that in the house. There's not going to be anyone that dissuades him from that. He's a lover, not a fighter. My words, not his. But no, he's gonna really just try to be kind with everyone. He talked about that his weakness is pretty women. So there's definitely opportunity for a showmance here. Don't know if he's going to be in the house long enough for a showmance, but he's open to a showmance. He says that his other weakness he feels is always trying to see the best in people, which sometimes could lead to some betrayals and some blind sides and all the unfortunate things that happen in the house. He talked about that he won't ever quit. He's been all kinds of broken bones, broken jaws. He doesn't quit with bull riding. He's not going to quit with the Big Brother house. He seems like an incredibly nice, super nice guy. Whether he finishes first or last, at some point, I look forward to meeting this guy at some future reality TV event because he just seems like an incredibly nice guy. But can he play the game? He's a super fan as well, but can he play the game being as nice as he is and recognizing that maybe he's going to be way too trusting of people than he should be? You know who he reminds me of as I was watching his review? He really reminds me of Caleb, Beast Mode Cowboy from, was he season 16? I should have looked it up, but he very much reminds me of Beast Mode Cowboy. Just a good soul that sometimes may get a little overwhelmed and affect your game a little bit. My prediction as a result is that I've got him as an early boot. No, I don't have a number. I think I had him maybe as like the third person out this season, early boot, pre-jury. I hope I'm wrong. I truly do, because this guy's got a heart of gold. He deserves to go further. I don't think he'll make the finals for America's favorite because he won't be in the game nearly long enough. Preseason, he's my pick for America. He's Cliff's favorite, America's favorite, based on what I saw. Just love this guy. He may be short for the game of Big Brother, but I'm going to have fun watching him while he plays the game. All right, two more left. I know we've been talking forever. Two more left. We've got Vince, who brings the best. Vince is an interesting character. He brings the best. He's 34 years old. He's from West Hills, California. Not sure where West Hills is, but California. He's unemployed, and he's not going to lie about it. He's I'm unemployed. At one point, he says, I've had lots of jobs. I just haven't found anything really that I'm passionate about that I want to make a career of just yet. He did talk about sports photography would be kind of cool. It's a hobby, not a career, but a hobby. But he said, yeah, right now I'm unemployed. Don't really know what I'm going to do when I get out of the house. His job this summer is playing the game of Big Brother. He is a massive fan. He says he's been watching since season 16. He's got a strategy. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Big Brother is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So I think he's on the right path in the way he wants to do this. He wants to treat each week as a mini game. Just survive this week and move on. Do what you need to do to survive this week, and don't deal with next week until next week. I get it. I think there's something to be said for that. But at the same time, you also have to always keep the bigger picture in mind of of what's going to be happening in week 12, week 13. And so you have to start building the relationships and the bonds that may not pay off this week, that are going to pay off much later. But as much as you focus on this week, you always got to be looking at the end goal as well. But he's going to take it week to week. He says that he's the master of winging it and adapting, which I like hearing the adaptability. That's my buzzword for good players. He says that he's a master of none, but he's okay and he's good at everything, which could pay off in the house. He's not going to be a beast at comps, at strategy, anything else, but he feels like he's good enough to survive all aspects of the game. He wants to enjoy life. I truly feel like he's going to do that inside the house. Seems like he does that in real life from the limited amount of information we saw. He says his strength is empathy. Now, everyone else is saying that that's a weakness because I'm going to be too empathetic to others. He's saying, nah, for me, that's my strength. I'm going to be able to empathize with other people and relate to them as a result. He thinks his self-awareness is going to help him as well. He says he's got a one-track mind, which could sometimes be a little difficult to get away from it when he needs to. He says that his weakness is he thinks that if he gets a little riled up, he may say the wrong thing. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 90-something days. And all it takes is saying the wrong thing one time, and you may have a target, an enemy, your game in shambles as a result. So his self-awareness may pay off, realizing that he's got to be careful with that. This guy kind of surprised me. I saw his picture was up there a couple of days ago. I'd seen his face. Once he started talking, I just saw a lot of joy in this guy. He surprised me a little bit. He does seem very attentive to the game and to how it's going to be played. He's got a lot of joy and passion in the way he talks about himself and the game. Do you know who this guy reminds me of? Get rid of the mustache, and something about his personality reminds me a little bit of Tommy Bracco from my season. And I know you are laughing. What are you talking about? Go back and look at Tommy. Look at Vince talk a little bit. I just see some similarities. Just a fun, very nice person who is passionate about life and playing the game of Big Brother. And so, yeah, I'm all for Vince. I truly am. I think I'm going to love this guy. My prediction, late jury. I don't think he makes it to the end. I'm calling out 6th place for Vince. So I think he's going to make it deep into the game. I also am predicting that Vince is not going to just be one of the finalists for America's favorite player. I'm predicting Vince is America's favorite player. I think people are going to appreciate Vince and him just being who he is, and people are going to like what they see out of Vince. So America's favorite pick, I'm handing it to Vince for right now. It could all change 3 days from now, but for right now, that's what I'm calling it. All right, final house guest. This may be a little longer on plan, but bear with me. Final house guest, Zack. Zack, who is bringing in brains and strength. He's 27 years old. He's from Georgia. He's a marketing manager, which, that heck of a good profession to have and all that. What really struck me a little bit more is he's a pro baseball player, former pro baseball player, played within the Washington Nationals organization. He talked about the fact that he's not a long-term fan. He called himself the complete package. We shall see, Zack. We shall see. He's going to focus less on marketing manager. He thinks that may worry some people that they may think the wrong things based on him being a marketing manager. So instead, he's really going to focus on and push the narrative that he's a pastor's kid. And he hopes that's going to help people think they can trust him more as a result. So he's going to push that particular narrative of the pastor kid over the marketing manager. I mentioned that he is a former baseball player. He says he's going to tell everyone. He's not going to try to keep that a secret. He definitely is going to be an athletic presence in terms of the athletic competitions in this thing, I think. He says he'll always be on his feet playing the game. It drives him crazy when he watches past seasons and people who basically just sometimes are taking breaks from playing the game and doing something differently. We saw some of the last season, people that weren't always playing the game. He says he'll always be on his feet playing the game from day one to the day he walks out of that house. He'll be doing that. He says that he wants to get to know everyone. That's the key to the first part of the season, is making sure that has good relationships with everyone in this house and not get too focused on just the people maybe that you want to work with. So he's going to do that. He does think that he'll be perceived as a threat because he's a former baseball player. Of course, he's going to be perceived as a threat. He talked about the fact it's not just the strength and the athletic, but also brains that he carries to the table. But he does think that he'll be perceived as a threat. So he's going to push. He's a pastor's kid, as I mentioned. He wants to be a builder of deeper relationships. By the time it's over, he wants to really feel not just peripheral, not just casual relationships. He wants to be tight with people that he's playing with. I like that. He says, though, he also wants to be in a bunch of different alliances just so he's got all of his bases covered. Baseball bases covered. Yeah, you got it right. He wants to be in a lot of different alliances. So, Rachel O'Reilly, I hear RAF floaters get you life vest. He may be playing a little bit of a floater game. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it sounds like that could be a consideration. He thinks that his gameplay will be his weakness. That's quite up in front to say. He thinks it could be his weakness because he is saying that he's going to play hard and probably play a bit risky as a result. This season with the AI arena, whatever they're going to call it, you probably can play a little riskier if you're athletic enough. We may see, just like Tucker last season, Zack may be the kind of same type player that play a little riskier at the beginning, knowing that he's got an extra opportunity to get himself pulled off the block if the wrong person is HOH. Now, with that being said, he did talk about last season. Remember, he hasn't seen a lot of seasons, so he focused on last season. He talked about that he's going to take the best about Tucker, which I assume is a risky play. He's going to take the best of Chelsea, the strategic behind-the-scenes player, and he's going to take the best of McKenzie, a kind of a comp beast. He's going to take the best of all three of those players, combine them together, and that's what we're looking at with Zack. We'll see if that's the case. He says he's willing to play the game on the edge. That danger Will Robinson kind of warnings to me when I hear someone say that. It may pay off, but that is definitely a risky play. He says showmance is definitely a possibility while he's in there. I think he's the one who said that his mom is Filipino, and she said if he has a showmance, if he's even laying next to one of the women in his house, she's going to kill him when he gets out. But he still said showmance is a possibility. I could see it happening. Predictions, I think he may come in playing a little bit hard. I think it's going to catch up to him. I am predicting that he's going to be an early jury boot, that he is going to finish up in 7th place. So getting there towards the end, but maybe not quite to the very end of this game. 7th place. All right, with that being said, the only other final thing I had to say, well, let's just summarize. I've got Ashley winning this thing. I've got Amy being the first boot out of the house. I've got Vince being America's favorite player. What about showmances? I went back and forth. There's several people who've said yes, several who've said no. The one showmance that I'm calling right now, better predictor than Love Island in The Bachelor, in my opinion. I think we're going to see Zack and Lauren in a showmance at some point in this season, as long as they stay long enough to make it happen. Of course, Matt had a showmance and he was out week 1. So you don't even need that much longevity in the game of Big Brother to have a showmance. I'm calling it. I think Zack and Lauren could end up together. Of course, watch. They're going to hate each other and prove me wrong, which is perfectly fine. There you have it, guys. I'm excited for the season. As I said at the very beginning, I like every single cast member. I think every single one of them brings something to the table. So it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to get this posted here just momentarily. Tell me in the comments. Tell me who y'all think is going to win. Who's going to win America's favorite? What showmances am I missing out on? Give me your own predictions. We're going to tab this, tag it, whatever. We'll check it out at the end of the season. We'll see how well each and every one of us does. But there you have it, guys. Big Brother season has become. We know who the cast is. A couple of days from now, we'll see the premiere episode. And then a few days later, we'll get the live feeds. And that's when we're really going to get to know these players. But at least now we know a little bit about them. I'm so excited. And I know y'all are too. Bring on Big Brother 27. Until Thursday night, guys, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. And I love Big Brother. Cheers, my friends. Bye.